Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are jumping right into a subject that honestly, it shows one of the most remarkable strategic pivots we've seen in the crypto space.
It really is.
We are looking at COTI. And the fascinating contrast here is, well, it's how a single decentralized project went from trying to solve, general slow payments.
A huge but very crowded goal.
So crowded. And they jumped from that to becoming an infrastructure partner for the world's most centralized financial institutions. We're talking about the European Central Bank and the Bank of Israel.
That pivot is absolutely the story here. I mean, this isn't just a technical upgrade. It's a complete change of identity, a total change of purpose.
Right.
COTI went from being this old-school payment network that competed on speed to becoming a high-performance Layer 2 solution for one very specific, very critical thing.
And that is?
Compliant privacy. Our mission today is to take this whole transformation, this big, complicated move into COTI v2, and just break it down into 6 simple steps for you.
We want to show you exactly what they're doing, why they moved away from their original plan, and maybe most importantly, why central banks are suddenly paying very close attention.
Exactly.
So we're going to cover the core problem that drove this whole shift, the big idea behind their new approach, how the genuinely confusing technology actually works.
And we'll make it simple.
We will. Then the practical benefits for everyone, from you to major banks, the risks, and then we'll wrap it all up. Okay, let's unpack this.
So let's start with the problem that V2 is solving. It's a big one. It affects the entire blockchain space. Some people call it the paradox of blockchain transparency.
I think everyone listening kind of knows this, right? Public blockchains, especially Ethereum, are transparent by design. If you have a wallet address, you can see everything.
Every transaction, every balance, every contract interaction, which is great for auditability, for the crypto purists.
Not for business.
Not at all.
Yeah.
That transparency is an absolute non-negotiable deal breaker for nearly every established enterprise you can think of.
You can't put sensitive data out there.
No. A hospital can't put patient records on chain. A trading firm can't put its secret sauce, its strategies, on a public ledger for competitors to see. Confidentiality isn't a feature. It's a legal requirement.
That makes perfect sense. So transparency is the big wall that's kept institutional money on the sidelines. But hang on. The original COTI V1, it wasn't worried about privacy at all, was it?
No, not in the slightest.
Yeah.
The original V1, the currency of the internet, was built on its own thing called a trust chain, which is a type of DAG.
A direct-to-cyclic graph, right?
Exactly. And the whole point of V1 was just to solve slow speeds. They were aiming for this ambitious number, like 100,000 transactions per second. They just wanted to be the fastest payment rail possible.
But the crypto market moves really, really fast.
It does. While COTI V1 was still perfecting its own standalone chain, the whole Ethereum scaling scene just exploded. Layer 2s became the standard.
Right, everyone started building on top of Ethereum instead of trying to compete with it.
Exactly. You leverage its security. And that kind of made these specialized standalone networks, like V1 was, far less important strategically.
So if you can't win the speed race on your own, what do?
You pivot. And this is the genius move. They realized the market had basically solved scaling. So instead of fighting in that crowded payments field, they switched their focus entirely
To the biggest unsolved problem.
the biggest unsolved problem in the dominant ecosystem, which was high performance, regulatory compliant privacy. That's where the money is, and that's what the banks actually need.
Which brings us to the big idea. COTI V2's new mission, becoming the privacy layer of Web3. And they had a really good simple analogy for this.
They do. Think back to the early internet. Before you dream of typing your credit card number into a website, everything was running on HTTP.
Open, exposed, not secure.
Totally exposed.
Yeah.
Then HTTPS came along, adding that S for secure. It encrypted the data. It made confidential interactions online the norm.
Okay, so COTI V2 wants to be the HTTPS for blockchains, turning all those transparent transactions and contracts into secure, confidential interactions by default.
Precisely. And this is where they take a massive technological detour. To do this, they deliberately ditched the industry standard for privacy.
Which is ZK proofs, zero knowledge proofs.
They ditched it. Instead, they opted for a very advanced cryptographic method called garbled circuits, or GC.
Okay, that sounds confusing. We need another simple analogy.
Right, so garbled circuits are a type of secure multi-party computation, or MPC. Imagine 5 CEOs. They all want to find out who has the highest salary at their companies.
But none of them want to reveal their actual payroll data to the others.
Exactly. A garbled circuit lets them all input their private numbers, their salary data, and the system computes the result, the single highest salary, without ever decrypting or revealing the private data from any one of them.
So only the final answer is revealed, not the inputs.
Only the final agreed-upon result. And that core idea, computing on data while it stays encrypted, that's the game changer. It means a smart contract can run on data that nobody can read.
Okay, let's talk architecture. Because moving from V1 to V2 is huge. COTI V2 is now an EVM-compatible layer 2, built right on top of Ethereum.
And that transition from their own DAG to aligning with Ethereum is a massive engineering lift. You asked before why that's so crucial.
Yeah, why is EVM compatibility so important, and how hard is it to switch from a DAG?
It's crucial because it taps into the biggest developer ecosystem in crypto. Anyone who writes in Solidity, the language of Ethereum, can just move right over.
So you don't have to learn a whole new system.
Right. And moving from a DAG, which is a very different way of ordering things, to a standard L2 architecture. It's
Yeah.
like switching the entire operating system of a company overnight. They had to throw out their old consensus model.
And as an L2, they get all that security from Ethereum, but can process the fast, sensitive stuff on their own layer. Which brings us back to their edge. Why garbled circuits instead of ZK proofs?
Because the claim they're making is monumental. They are betting that GC is just way faster and lighter than ZK proofs for this specific job.
The team is claiming it's up to 1,000 times faster.
And requires 250 times less storage.
Wait, 1,000 times faster? That sounds like marketing copy. Why hasn't everyone ditched ZK if it's that much better? What's the catch?
That's a valid skepticism. The claim is very specific. It relates to the computation time for the privacy part itself. ZK proofs are amazing for verifying something without revealing the data, but they can take a ton of computational power to generate the proof in the first place.
Ah, so it's about the creation of the proof.
Exactly. Garbled circuits for this kind of computation on encrypted data are claimed to be just dramatically more efficient. If they're right, V2 is light enough to handle complex confidential contracts that ZK might struggle with, even on just a regular phone.
And that's their killer feature if it scales. So how does a developer actually use this?
Their L2 uses an expanded virtual machine. They call it the GCEVM. It basically adds new data types like ciphertext and garbled text to handle the encrypted stuff. But the amazing part for developers, they can still write contracts in Solidity, the language they already know.
The protocol handles the hard crypto part.
It does all the heavy lifting automatically.
Okay, one final tech check on centralization. V1 had its specialized nodes. Any L2 has to worry about its sequencers. For anyone listening, what is a sequencer, and how is V2 handling that?
Right. The sequencer is basically the node that orders all the transactions on the layer 2 before they get sent back to Ethereum. If one person controls the sequencer, they can control the order.
Which is a huge problem.
A huge problem. So COTI V2's roadmap specifically includes plans to decentralize the sequencers over time. It's a critical security step they absolutely have to deliver on.
Okay, we've covered the tech. Now let's shift to who actually uses this. And this is where it gets really exciting because it's for two totally different groups.
Right, you've got the individual DeFi user, and then you have the massive institutional giants.
Let's start with the regular user.
For you, as someone active in DeFi, the biggest, most immediate benefit is protection against front-running, also known as MEV.
Explain that pain point.
So you go to make a trade on a DX. Your transaction is sitting there, pending, on a transparent blockchain. Malicious bots see it coming.
They see your big order.
And they instantly place an order right before yours, push the price up a tiny bit, and then sell to you at that higher price. They make a profit from your move. We're talking billions of dollars a year are extracted this way.
It's massive exploitation.
It is. But since V2 enables fully private orders, hiding the amount and the addresses, those bots just can't see the transaction coming.
It's like a shield.
Confidentiality is the shield. And we're seeing this with their launch partner, Privex, which is a DX, offering fully private perpetual contracts.
Okay, so that protects me. But for the institutions, this is where that regulated part comes in. Tell us about privacy on demand.
This is the key. This is what attracts the central banks. In their model, data is private by default, which is what you want, but the system allows for selective disclosure to authorized parties.
Like a regulator or an auditor.
Exactly. A regulator can be given a special key to see what they need to see for compliance, but without revealing everything to the public.
So it's not total anonymity, it's confidentiality.
That's the perfect way to put it. It's confidentiality without anonymity. You keep your financial privacy from the public, but you're not hidden from the oversight that global finance requires.
And this is the part that got them in the door with the big players. COTI was selected as a pioneer partner for the digital euro project by the European Central Bank.
An incredible validation. And that wasn't their first one. Even earlier, they completed a proof of concept for the digital shekel for the Bank of Israel. They built a whole CBDC-powered marketplace to show it off.
So are these bank partnerships just, good PR, or are they proof that the tech is actually viable?
I think they're proof of strategic viability. It confirms that this specific flavor of privacy-garbled circuits, providing confidentiality that's also compliance-friendly, is seen as a real solution for the world's strictest financial systems.
For CBDCs and tokenizing real-world assets.
Exactly. Banks need speed, they need privacy, and they absolutely need to follow the rules. COTI is offering a framework that checks all three boxes.
Okay, but despite all this excitement, a pivot this big with brand new tech has to come with risks. Let's talk about the financial model first.
The first major risk is the tokenomics shift. And this is a big one for long-time token holders. COTI V1 had a fixed supply, 2 billion tokens.
Which suggests scarcity, right? Anti-inflationary.
Yes. But E2 scrapped that. They moved to an inflationary model, nearly tripling the potential max supply to almost 5 billion tokens.
Whoa, okay, so they killed scarcity. Why would they do that? That seems like a huge risk for the people who already hold the token.
It is a huge risk, but it's a technical necessity for being an L2. That inflation is needed to pay the validators, the nodes that secure the new network. It's the L2's security budget. No pay, no security.
But the worry is that this just creates constant sell pressure and dilutes everyone's holdings. How do they plan to mitigate that?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question. All the fees collected from people actually using the network go into a treasury. The community can then use the governance token, GCOTI, to vote on whether to burn those fees.
So if usage is high and they vote to burn, that could create deflationary pressure to fight the inflation.
It could, but that is a very big if. It's entirely dependent on massive future adoption and usage.
Okay, risk number 2 has to be the technology itself. Garbled circuits sound great, but they're way less battle-tested in public blockchains than ZK proofs.
Sure, there is a real execution risk here. The performance they're promising at massive scale, it might not fully materialize. Or, because the tech is newer in this context, there could be unforeseen security bugs.
And finally, competition. They're not alone in this space.
Not at all.
Yep.
COTI is fighting against incredibly well-funded competitors like Aztec and Aleo, who are the giants in the ZK privacy world. They have to execute perfectly to win over developers.
Okay, let's bring it all home. Final summary of this incredible pivot.
Go for it.
COTI V2 has, I think, successfully transformed. It went from an obsolete payment network to a cutting-edge, EVM-compatible Layer 2 that's all about providing privacy on demand. It's powered by this unique, high-speed garbled circuits tech.
And, crucially, has gotten that stamp of approval from major central banks.
And that institutional validation is the truly provocative thought to leave everyone with.
It is. So think about this. If central banks, the most regulated financial bodies on the planet, view COTI's technology as the secure future for digital money because it allows for selective regulatory oversight.
Then what does that mean for the old guard?
Exactly. Does that mean the whole era of completely anonymous, untraceable crypto, like the older privacy coins, is inevitably fading away? Is it being replaced by a regulated, compliant, but still private financial future?
The future of privacy might be regulated privacy. Something for you to chew on.
Absolutely.
A huge thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.
If you found this interesting, please like and subscribe to the channel. We do all the complex research, so you don't have to.
We'll see you next time.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.